Amara's hands trembled as she stepped off the plane at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. 5 years in London had changed her. The young woman who'd left Nairobi chasing dreams of becoming a doctor had returned as a successful surgeon, but with a heart heavy with secrets she couldn't name. The familiar chaos of Nairobi's traffic, the vendors calling out their wares, the scent of roasting maize, everything rushed back to her as her cousin Kwame picked her up in his beaten Toyota. His warm smile hadn't changed, nor had his easy laughter that had always made family gatherings bearable. "Zara can't wait to see you," Kwame said, navigating through the crowded streets. "She's been cooking for days. You know how she gets when family comes home." Amara's stomach tightened. Zara, her adopted sister, the one who'd been brought into their family when they were both 12, the one who'd married Kwame 3 years ago while Amara was still in medical school. The wedding photos on social media had been beautiful, but something had twisted in Amara's chest when she'd seen them dancing together. Zara's traditional gold jewelry catching the light as Kwame spun her round when they pulled up to the modest house in Kilimani. Zara burst through the gate before Amara could even get out of the car. She looked radiant, her dark skin glowing, her hair braided in intricate patterns, her smile as bright as the African sun. But it was the gentle swell of her belly that made Amara's breath catch. "Sister," Zara embraced her tightly, and Amara inhaled the familiar scent of shea butter and jasmine. "Look at you, so sophisticated now. A real doctor." "You're pregnant," Amara whispered, her voice barely audible. Zara's laugh was like music. "For months, we wanted to surprise you in person. Kwame insisted we wait until you came home to celebrate properly." That night, as they sat around the dinner table sharing ugali and sukuma wiki, Amara watched Kwame's hand rest protectively on Zara's belly. She watched him lean over to whisper something that made Zara giggle. She watched the easy intimacy between them, the way they moved around each other like dancers who'd rehearsed this choreography for years. And she realized, with a clarity that felt like a physical blow, that she was in love with her sister's husband. The revelation haunted Amara through sleepless nights. She'd extended her stay indefinitely, telling herself it was to help with the pregnancy. But knowing deep down she couldn't bear to leave, every morning, she'd watch Kwame prepare for his job at the telecommunications company, his shirts crisp, his goodbye kisses to Zara tender and routine. "You're different," Zara observed one afternoon as they sat in the small garden behind the house, sorting through baby clothes. "Quieter, more distant. London changed you." Amara's fingers stilled on a tiny yellow onesie. "I'm just adjusting. It's been a long time. Remember when we were girls? You used to tell me everything. Even the boy you kissed behind the school chapel." Zara's voice was gentle, probing. "We promised no secrets between us, remember?" The irony was suffocating. Amara had indeed told Zara about David Mwangi, the boy with the crooked smile who'd stolen her first kiss. But she'd never told her about the nights she'd lain awake wondering what it would be like to kiss Kwame, even then when they were all just teenagers and the world seemed full of possibilities. "Some secrets are meant to be kept," Amara said quietly. That evening, Kwame found her on the veranda, staring out at the Nairobi skyline. The city lights twinkled like earthbound stars, but Amara felt lost in darkness. "Zara's worried about you," he said, settling into the plastic chair beside her. "She thinks you're homesick." "Maybe I am." Amara couldn't look at him. His presence felt electric. "Dangerous. I'm glad you're here," Kwame said. "For the baby, for Zara. She needs family right now. And you." The words escaped before she could stop them. "What do you need?" Kwame was quiet for a long moment. When Amara finally turned to look at him, she saw something flicker in his eyes: confusion, recognition, fear. "I need my wife to be happy," he said carefully. "I need my child to be healthy. I need—" He stopped, shook his head. "I need things to stay simple." But simple was the last thing their lives were about to become. The next morning, Amara woke to find Zara hemorrhaging. The rush to the hospital, the emergency procedures, the terrifying hours of uncertainty, it all blurred together in a haze of medical jargon and desperate prayers. Amara's training kicked in, but her heart was breaking as she watched Zara's face contort with pain and fear. "Save my baby," Zara whispered, gripping Amara's hand. Please, sister, save my baby. The baby survived, but Zara's recovery was slow and complicated. Bedridden for weeks, she became a shadow of her former vibrant self. The doctors said she'd likely never carry another child to term, and the weight of that knowledge settled over the house like a shroud. Amara found herself becoming the caretaker, the one who cooked meals and managed medications and helped Zara to the bathroom. Kwame worked longer hours, as if staying away from home could somehow protect him from the grief that had taken root in his wife's eyes. She won't even look at me anymore, he confided to Amara one evening after Zara had fallen into another restless sleep. They were washing dishes in the cramped kitchen, their movements careful and choreographed to avoid touching. She blames herself, Amara said. It's not about you. Then why does it feel like she's disappearing? Like she's choosing to disappear? Amara's hands stilled in the soapy water. Because sometimes, when we lose something precious, we forget what we still have. Kwame moved closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. What do I still have, Amara? Tell me, because I can't see it anymore. She turned to face him, and suddenly they were inches apart, the space between them charged with months of unspoken tension. His eyes searched her face, and she saw the moment he really understood what had been building between them. This, she whispered, her voice breaking. This is what's wrong with me. This is why I can't leave. Amara, I love you. The words came out in a rush, desperate and raw. I've loved you for years, even before I understood what love was. I've tried to stop, tried to be the good sister, the good cousin, but I can't. I can't watch you with her and pretend my heart isn't breaking. Kwame's face crumpled. Don't say that. Please don't say that. Why? Because it makes it real. Because it makes you complicit in this betrayal. Because, he said, his voice ragged. Because I love you too. The confession hung between them like a bomb waiting to explode. Amara felt the world shift, felt the careful walls she'd built around. Her heart crumbled into dust. Then Zara's voice cut through the night. Amara, can you help me? They sprang apart, guilt written across their faces, and Amara rushed to her sister's bedside. But as she helped Zara sip water and adjusted her pillows, she could feel Kwame watching from the doorway, and she knew there was no going back. The next morning, Zara was sitting up in bed when Amara brought her breakfast. Her eyes were clearer than they'd been in weeks, but there was something else there, a sharpness that made Amara's blood run cold. How long? Zara asked quietly. How long what? How long have you been in love with my husband? The question hung in the air like a blade. Amara's hands shook as she set the breakfast tray down, her mind racing for denials, explanations, anything that might undo the truth written across her face. I saw you, Zara continued, her voice eerily calm. Last night, the way you looked at each other, the way you pulled apart when I called. She laughed, but it was a broken sound. I've been lying here for weeks, thinking I was losing my mind, seeing things that weren't there. But they were. There, weren't they? Zara, please don't. Zara's voice cracked like a whip. Don't lie to me. Not now. Not when I've lost everything else. Amara sank into the chair beside the bed, her body heavy with the weight of her betrayal. You haven't lost everything. You have Kwame. You have your marriage. You have what marriage? Zara's eyes blazed. My husband is in love with my sister, who I trusted with my life, who I welcomed into my home, who I asked to save my baby. Tears streamed down her face. How long, Amara? How long? Have you both been lying to me? We didn't. Answer me. Zara's shout brought Kwame running from the kitchen. He stopped short when he saw them, his face pale with understanding. Zara, let me explain. Explain what? That you're in love with her. That you've been in love with her while I've been carrying your child. While I've been fighting to save our family. Zara struggled to sit up straighter, her hands gripping the sheets. Explain how you could touch me, kiss me, make love to me, all while wanting her. Kwame's voice was barely a whisper. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Tell me, Kwame. Tell me how you fell in love with my sister while promising to love only me. The silence stretched between them, broken only by Zara's ragged breathing. Outside, Nairobi continued its daily rhythm, matatas honking, vendors calling, life moving forward while their world collapsed. I tried to stop it, Kwame said finally. God knows I tried. But when she came back, when I saw her again—" He stopped, ran his hands through his hair. "There's no excuse. There's no explanation that makes this right." Zara turned to Amara, her eyes burning with betrayal. "And you, my sister, the one who taught me to braid my hair, who held me when I cried about the parents I never knew, who made me believe family was something sacred." Amara's voice was barely audible. "I'm sorry." "Sorry?" Zara laughed bitterly. "Sorry doesn't give me back my husband's heart. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that every time he's touched me, he's been thinking of you." "That's not true," Kwame started, "isn't it?" Zara's gaze was unflinching. "Look me in the eye and tell me you haven't thought of her. Tell me you haven't wondered what it would be like if things were different." Kwame's silence was answer enough. Zara slowly pushed herself out of bed, her movements careful but determined. "I want you both out of my house, Zara. Please." Amara reached for her, but Zara stepped back. "Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me again." Her voice was steady now, cold with finality. "You want each other, you can have each other, but not in my home, not in my life." As Amara packed her suitcase, her hands moved mechanically while her heart shattered. She could hear Kwame in the next room, pleading with Zara, but the responses were monosyllabic. Final, she found herself standing in the doorway of what had been her temporary home, watching the woman who had been her sister stare out the window at the garden they'd tended together. "I never meant for this to happen," Amara whispered. Zara didn't turn around. "But you're glad it did." Amara opened her mouth to deny it, but the words wouldn't come, because buried beneath the guilt and the pain was a terrible, shameful truth. She was glad. Glad that the secret was out. Glad that she no longer had to pretend. Glad that Kwame had chosen. "He's not coming with you," Zara said, as if reading her thoughts. "He's my husband, the father of my child. Whatever he feels for you, he won't leave us. Not really." Amara's suitcase fell from her numb fingers. "What do you mean?" "I mean," Zara said, finally turning to face her, "that love isn't enough. It never was. You can love him from London, from wherever you run to next, but I'm his wife. I'm the mother of his child. I'm the one who'll be here when the guilt becomes too much to bear." As Amara walked out of the house, she heard the door close behind her with a finality that echoed in her bones. She'd won the man she loved, but lost the family she'd cherished, and in the end, she realized that might be the cruelest victory of all. The taxi pulled away from the house where she'd learned the difference between love and family, between wanting and having, between the heart's desire and the soul's true home. Behind her, the chaos of her choices settled into a new reality, one where three people would spend the rest of their lives learning to live with the weight of love that came too late and at too high a cost.